It may not look like it, but we're professionals. Do us a favor.
Don't try this at home. Whoa!
On this Major League episode of MythBusters, the guys raid the randomizer for a medley of mind-bending mini-myths sent in by you. First up, the fans ask,
We're gathering data.
do you really know the back of your hand like the proverbial proverb?
Oh, pick me.
Then,
Have at it.
is a subaquatic pool pedal possible, plausible, or patently preposterous?
Most peculiar start to any race ever.
Meanwhile,
He is none other than Matt King.
Cary Grant and Tori draft a giant of baseball
The man's got a cannon for an arm.
to pitch in with some monk magic. Can you really pierce glass with a needle? And finally, you ask, does the potty dance
See, the potty dance is simple and basic.
actually help you hold it in for longer?
I hope I don't go pee now. This would be awkward.
Who are the Mythbusters? Adam Savage
Is everybody okay?
and Jamie Heineman.
It's party time.
Between them, more than 30 years of special effects experience. Together with Tori Bellagio,
We only have one shot at this.
Brent Imahara, and Carrie Byron. They don't just tell the myths, they put them to the test. Roll up, roll up. The randomizer returns to put your ideas in a lucky dip spin.
It's time to take some fan suggestions. It's time to use the randomizer.
That was good. I almost believe that you like this convention.
Just roll it.
All right, here we go. And let's see what we got. Dear Mythbusters, you know the phrase, I know it like the back of my hand? I think you guys should put this to the test. How well do people actually know the backs of their hand?
I like that. Can't believe we haven't done it before.
Me neither. Let's do it.
Okay.
It's a ubiquitous idiomatic phrase that has been unchallenged for over 60 years. Until now. Is the implicit premise even true? Do we really know the back of our hands that well? To find out, it's facts on, gloves off.
So what's the plan?
Well, I'm worried this might be too difficult, but what if we took pictures of the backs of 100 people's hands, and we use those as a database? Then we bring in, say, 12 volunteers. We take pictures of their hands, and then we make them pick their hand out of a lineup.
Okay, well, once they get here, we should put mittens on them or something so they can't cheat.
Totally right.
Let's go get some volunteers.
Let's do it.
So first up, it's a lineup at a handy location. Jamie's mind?
Place always makes me feel like I'm inside the neutrality of the Heinemann brain.
Now, that has an ocean background in it. This is a photo studio, and we've got 100 people waiting outside for us to photograph the backs of their hands.
Just how well do you know the back of your hand? With the help of a little photography, some test subjects, and some volunteers, this rig is going to help us answer that.
Go right on over here, and Adam will show you what to do.
Each of our 100 volunteers is going to walk into this room, place their hand on this platform. The lighting will be identical, the framing will be identical, and when we've got all 100 of those photographs, next! That's the database with which we are going to put this myth to the test. We're gathering data.
With 50 guys
Excellent. Thanks very much.
and 50 gals strapped for science, Adam and Jamie have their library lineup.
So, all right, let's get to testing.
And back at Hand HQ, 12 blindfolded volunteers are wheeled in to take the actual test.
I'd love you to drop your elbow a little bit. Our test subjects are going to have to pick the back of their hand out of a lineup. That lineup is going to include 9 other hands picked from the 50 that we took photos of.
Here's the first one.
All right, let's pick some hands that look similar. Now, already we're clearly controlling for gender. We are also going to control for race and shape. The myth isn't, can you pick your hand out of a random lineup of people's hands? I always love it when it all starts to come together. Let's bring her in. The myth is that it's one of the easiest possible things because you know this better than anything else. That's what we're here to find out. Now, Jill, one of these pictures is of the back of your hand. We would like you within 60 seconds. Tell us which one you think is yours.
Okay,
Interestingly, volunteer number 1 hesitates. Maybe it isn't as simple as the myth would have us believe.
I think it's 8 or 9.
You think it's 8 or 9?
I'm
one
gonna
would
go
you
with
choose?
9.
Let's see how you did. You were right. It's you.
Yes!
Well done. Excellent.
So, indecision or not, the myth is off to a good start.
You nailed it. Right away. How did you do that?
And the next couple of hand-picked hand pickers
That is a fast and decisive decision, and you would be correct.
are not only successful, but much faster.
I would probably say 2 right off the bat. 2. Yeah.
8.
Dimitri's an interesting case. He, like a couple of other of our test subjects, identified his hand almost instantly. Really, that quickly?
Yeah.
All right. And it's you. But he told us that as he walked up and saw there's 10 hands, he's got to pick his out. He thought, oh, this is going to be really difficult until he saw his hand. And then he knew that was his.
Number 1?
Yep, you're correct.
Cool.
That's sort of what's happening to us. In the abstract, we thought this test would be really difficult. In concrete, it's turning out to be a lot easier than we thought.
With only one failure
I'm sorry, it's not you.
out of 12, the numbers are very persuasive.
Definitely number one.
The overwhelming majority of our volunteers know the back of their hands like,
Bingo!
you know the ending to this line. But it's not over yet. Why isn't the proverb based on another body part? Is it possible to replace back of the hand for another anatomical article?
She nailed it.
Question is, what?
I feel like I would know the palms of my hands better than the backs of my hands.
And we know our faces better, but that's too easy.
We do brush our teeth every single night.
Yeah, let's do teeth.
What if we did teeth and palms against backs of hands and see how they compare?
Okay.
All right?
Next up, the randomizer throws up some monk mayhem.
Okay, I can't wait.
All right. All right. Dear MythBusters, I've been seeing online a lot of people, mostly Shaolin monks, throwing needles through panes of glass.
Oh yeah, I've seen this. The monks are standing fairly close to the glass, maybe 3 or 4 feet away, and they have these fairly heavy needles. They throw them in the glass without shattering it.
Do they really say, "Ugh"?
Oh no, I just made that up.
All right, well, they want to know, is this an actual occurrence, or is this just special effects?
According to the internet, this myth's a monk slam dunk, as the needle somehow penetrates the glass without causing it to shatter. But is this just Shaolin shenanigans?
Okay, in watching the video, it looks like the needle is pretty chunky, but what about the glass?
It's kind of hard to tell. Why don't we do this? Let's just take regular window glass, which is about 1/8 inch thick, and we just start throwing needles at it, and we'll see if we can punch a hole through it.
Sounds great, and depending on what we get, we can either ramp up the speed of the needle or use thinner glass. Now in this myth, we see what appears to be a Shaolin monk throwing a needle, such as this one, through a piece of glass. And we've got some leftover 1/8 inch window glass from a previous experiment. You guys okay? Everybody okay? We've also got our high-speed scale that tells how fast we're throwing. But before we actually throw needles at glass, we've set up our dartboard just to see what we're gonna get.
So first up, the guys are stepping up to the practice plate.
Generally demonstrating some sort of physical feat on camera is something I dread, mostly because I lack any sort of athletic skill, coordination, or grace. But maybe throwing needles will be my thing, because I have spent some time with the dartboard.
And sure enough, Carrie's got this one covered. Because other than the odd bounce back,
Ow!
she's hitting the board first time, every time.
Eh? Nobody saw it?
And when Grant and Tori step up to the plate, they too find that embedding the board is surprisingly simple. Will the penetration without shatteration be as straightforward?
So my top speed was 28 miles an hour. Grant's was 38 and Tori's was 47. Now we're moving on to glass. And though I think speed's gonna be a major factor, we also want to give this a go, because this is really fun.
Indeed it is. And first up is the lady herself.
Putting a hole in 1/8 inch glass.
Let's see if you can punch a hole through it with the needle. Looks like the window got its revenge.
Yep, in take one, the needle just didn't have the power to pierce the pane. Trouble is, neither does take 2, 3, or 4. Next up is Grant. Will his extra throwing speed give him a hole in one?
This seems a little more dangerous than I thought.
Why? Because he's bleeding?
Yeah.
Despite a 10-mile-an-hour increase on carry, Grant's not getting any penetration satisfaction. Enter Tori. He has a significant and sizable 40% more kinetic energy to bring to the party.
Whoa!
Dude, you're making good contact.
It's the hardest throw yet,
Ooh, right!
but it still barely glanced the glass. Despite every effort, the only thing busted around here is the myth. But all is not lost.
So far, we have not been able to get a single needle to fly through the glass. I just don't think we're throwing these needles fast enough. I mean, we're hitting the glass, so we're hitting it correctly. The problem is the speed of the needle. We need to bring somebody in who can throw objects much faster than us. I think we need to bring in a professional baseball pitcher.
And not just any baseball pitcher, but one of the best in the business. Later, go on MythBusters. Adam and Janie ramp it down to science it up.
The big problem here is traction.
And did we mention Matt Cain stopping by?
My God, I can't believe this.
The numbers are in, and we do in fact know the back of our hands.
Any volunteers for the next test subject? Oh, pick me.
But the proverb isn't proven yet. Is it anatomically accurate?
So teeth and palms.
Yep.
Same methodology as backs of hands.
I think so. Let's keep on going with it.
So the number to beat is 11 out of 12. And first up, will our volunteers have better fortune reading their palms?
I think it's 8.
2 quick correct results,
And you got it right.
and it's a good start.
And you're right.
But by palm picker number 3, it's clear it's a trickier task.
Yeah, number 4.
That is not you.
Damn, it looks a lot like me.
You know, Jamie, it's funny. I thought that the palms would be even more distinctive than the backs of the hands.
It's 9.
Really?
Yeah.
All right, let's see. You are correct. But all at once, they end up looking kind of more uniform.
Well, let's see what the numbers say.
The numbers,
Can I go with 4?
4. All right.
Well, I'm not very confident in that.
Not very confident. It is not you.
Yeah.
soon add up to a decisive conclusion. Picking our palms out of a lineup is down for the count.
It's not number 2.
That one's way tougher.
The results of the palms are in. 7 out of 12 of our test subjects were correctly able to identify their palm in the lineup. That's statistically better than guessing by a little bit, but not nearly the level of familiarity we would need to confirm I know it like the palm of my hand as an idiomatic phrase. Palms are out.
Which only strengthens the case for a myth confirmation.
I'll let you guess what our next test is.
After all, dental records, like a fingerprint, are used for legal identification.
I think I had a nightmare like this one.
Surely they're more distinctive than the back of your hand.
Now we're about to test how well people recognize their own teeth. Take your time, look at them all, let us know which ones you think are yours. And from the get-go, I've always thought that this would be the test that people had the easiest time of recognizing which set was their choppers.
That one's mine.
Wow, you know your teeth very well.
I feel them every day.
Adam's assumption
Yes, you are, in fact, correct.
would mean 12 from 12 correct results.
Which one?
Number 8.
Really? That fast? Yeah, there you go. Ding! You win!
And as time is crunched,
You got it.
it's possible he's right.
And you did it. You nailed it.
Yay! That one.
Really? That quickly. You're correct. Was this one harder than the back of the hand?
Just 2 left, and it's down to the wire.
I think it's number 1.
Let's see how you did. Nope.
No!
You, in fact, were number 7.
Oh my god!
You are wrong.
And it's those 2 final failures that mean this viewer-requested mini-myth is all wrapped up.
So how do you want to call this?
Well, I think I know it like the back of my hand is an idiomatic phrase we have to leave alone as essentially confirmed. All of our test subjects were totally intimate with what the backs of their hands look like.
I agree, but one more thing.
What's that?
I don't ever want to be a dentist.
No, me neither.
So we've been trying to throw a needle through a sheet of glass. Now we started with 1/8 inch glass, and perfected our technique, slowly increased our speeds, and so far, we haven't had any success.
So we need to ramp up the velocity of our needles. So we have brought in one of the fastest pitchers in the world of baseball. He is a giant in the field. In fact, he is one of 23 who has ever pitched a perfect game in the history of baseball. He is none other than Matt Cain. Oh my God, I cannot believe this.
If anyone can take aim at this myth, it's San Francisco Giants superstar pitcher, Matt Cain. Not only does he have a frighteningly fast fastball, but his perfect game, striking out 14 batters on the way to a 10-zip win, placed him alongside the greatest ever. He's a living legend.
But first, we're gonna find out how fast he can throw. So we're gonna have a little matchup. Tori's gonna throw a baseball, then Matt Cain's gonna throw a baseball. I'm going to measure it with the speed gun, and then we're all gonna laugh at Tori.
Yep, to prove they've got the best in the business,
Gotta warm up a little bit here.
Tori and Matt are going to have a little head-to-head.
Hey, Matt. All right, now, just to warn you, I played a little Little League growing up, so let me just show you how I do it.
Go, Dory!
Wow, that was scorching hot.
A scorching hot 48 miles an hour.
All right, so what do you think? Think I got a shot?
No.
Yeah, my money's on Matt.
Oh my God, all right, what did he get?
Do you want me to say this out loud, or is this gonna diminish you as a man? How do you feel about 92?
Wow, all right, 92. Well, I think you're ready to start throwing needles.
I think we can move on.
You've learned well.
I think Matt Cain is the man for the job. I mean, he doubled the speed at which Tori could throw. So, for the myth, we're gonna move on to 1/8 inch glass. Then after that, if it doesn't work, 1/16 inch. If that doesn't work, we're gonna go on to antique glass, which is only 1/32 inch. This might give some validity to the myth. I mean, the man's got a cannon for an arm.
And once the cannon's got his ammunition, it's all systems throw.
Looks like it's chipping.
Yeah, I think that was my best shot right there.
Why don't we check the high speed and see how fast you're throwing? But it looks like it's hitting really well. Yeah, it's still not punching a hole.
Incredibly, the high speed reveals that Matt's best throw peaked at 105 miles an hour, equaling the fastest baseball pitch ever recorded.
Okay, Matt is throwing these needles so much harder than we were. I mean, just to illustrate the point, as I was picking them up, I noticed they're bent. That just shows how much energy is actually going into that needle and trying to penetrate that glass.
But despite the speed and power, the 1/8 inch glass holds firm until...
Oh! wish that had been the one.
Oh my God!
Wow is right. With the reduced mass of the needle compared to a baseball, Matt manages to unleash a 113 miles an hour missile that takes a chip off the old block, but still fails to fly through, which means it's time to trim the fat.
Okay, so this is 1/16 inch glass. Now, because it's thinner, it reduces the amount of energy required to punch through. But the trade-off is that instead of punching a hole through it, it may shatter completely.
All right, Matt, remember all your Shaolin training. I want you to just punch a hole right through that glass.
Once again, Matt launches needle after needle with only a divot for his efforts.
That was a good one.
That sounded good.
Did you leave a little nick?
Yeah.
But on throw 8, there's finally a shatter to celebrate.
What the heck happened there?
The needle shattered.
Needle shattered. You shattered on a needle. You are a Shaolin monk.
Amazingly, Matt has busted the steel needle and left the glass utterly untouched, which doesn't bode well for the myth.
Okay, so Matt couldn't break the 1/16 inch glass. We're moving on to 1/32. Now, this is actually hard to find. You have to find this in an antique store. It's very thin glass. If he can make it through here, I think it's still plausible.
Indeed. But the problem here is that this glass is so fragile, it may sooner get smashed than speared.
You broke the glass with a needle. That's insane.
Yes, but it didn't exactly happen like the monk did in the video. It's just the glass is so fragile.
So at this point, it doesn't go through, it just smashes the glass.
Yeah, in order for us to get the needle to punch a clean hole, we're gonna have to get these needles traveling a lot faster.
All right, well, this is busted for a human, but amazing achievement.
Nice work.
Pretty fun.
Fun is right. Matt threw a medley of mini missiles, but could never match the viral video. Having the needle pass through the glass, which is left otherwise intact, has proved impossible, even for this perfect picture.
Look, we have no idea what they used in the video. We don't know if they used real glass, if that was a real needle. Here's what we do know. We're gonna find out what it takes to punch a hole in a sheet of glass without shattering it.
Next up, Adam and Jamie tackle an aquatic two-wheeled tall tale.
So one more randomizer thing.
Yes, indeed.
Spin it.
All right, here we go. Dear MythBusters, I heard that it is impossible to ride a bicycle underwater.
Why would you need to ride a bicycle underwater?
That totally doesn't matter. What matters is that it's supposed to be impossible, which means it's absolutely something we should test.
Yeah, but why would you need to do that?
Let's cut to a swimming pool, like right away.
It's a classic classroom conundrum. A physics problem Adam, at least, can't resist cracking. So, at your request, they hit the pool and dive in at the deep end of the science.
Now, the myth here is that you can't ride a bike underwater. And on the face of it, I can see there might be some problems, mainly surrounding the fact that water is so much more dense than air is. That was a satisfying thud. Now, this is going to mean that it's a lot harder to move through it, and relatively speaking, your weight underwater is a lot less than it is above water, and so you may have stability or traction problems. And that's what we're here to find out.
Now, one of the things that makes riding a bicycle above the water possible is that the forward momentum of the bicycle helps keep you upright. Now, forward momentum is going to come at quite a premium underwater, where I don't expect to ever be able to even go this fast. What is that going to do to my balance? I'm not exactly sure, but I expect it's going to make things a lot more difficult.
So there are a number of theories and physical factors that mean this myth might be sunk. But there's only one way to find out.
Adam's going to have the first go at riding a bike underwater, and he's pretty much just going to get in the water and go for it.
You ready?
Go for it. Now, to ride a bike underwater, the wheels are going to have to contact the ground. So if he's floating, that's not riding a bike.
So far, so good.
Yeah, you're propelling yourself, aren't you?
I am propelling myself, and the wheels aren't spinning.
It's so far so good. But riding a bike half underwater is only half riding a bike underwater. To really test this, Adam's got to submerge to find out.
And there he goes.
And there he doesn't.
His front wheel's no longer rolling. He's wheeling, actually.
For that test, riding a bike halfway submerged in the water, a lot easier than I thought it would be. But once I got fully underwater, it was, well, just as impossible as the myth would suggest. But we've got a couple of other things to try before we call it just yet.
What do you need?
I think I need more weight.
Adam's theory on his failure is his buoyancy. To counteract that, he needs more mass, enough so that he can keep in contact with the ground.
That's about 50 extra pounds.
And this time, he's buying more time below the surface with a scuba tank.
Ride a bike, underwater.
So, can Adam do a lap of the pool on a bicycle underwater? That's the benchmark the guys have set themselves for a myth-busting result. Like the last test, he started well. Going downhill, it all seems to be working.
Moving along like a charm.
But it's deceptive. Down into the deep he goes, but after he turns to come back, his problems become apparent. A lack of traction means the back wheel freewheels, and that means Adam's going down.
How'd you do?
So while I was sort of moving myself forward, it really couldn't be called riding a bike. It was more like semi-controlled floating. Second of all, while I was able to go downhill, there was no way I was able to get back up. Well, we've yet to achieve anything that I would call riding a bike underwater. But Jamie is going to give it a shot.
The water's great.
He's going to put some weight on this bike and try it his old self and see what he can figure out. I'm going to follow along in scuba.
So with an additional 25 pounds providing extra downforce, Jamie sets off. But despite his best efforts, the result is the same as Adam. The upward force of buoyancy means Jamie's wheels are spinning out. He can't transfer pedal power into forward motion through contact with the ground, which leaves the Myth finely balanced, unlike an underwater bike riding Heinemann.
Well, the myth is that riding a bicycle underwater is impossible. And while I think we've pretty cleanly shown that it's not impossible, I don't think we've yet shown that it's totally possible. See, I think of a bike riding as something that conveys you across a surface, and you can ride it uphill and downhill, and it gives you a mechanical advantage. So far, underwater, we've just been able to sort of control our floating. This is not a vehicle of conveyance underwater. Yet. I've got a couple of ideas up my sleeve that may make it.
The big problem here is traction. And to me, that means that we need more weight. A lot more weight. It might even be a couple 100 pounds.
Let's say we each put our ideas to the test, come back to this pool, and have a little underwater challenge. See who can officially ride a bike underwater.
A little race.
A little race.
Works for me.
Let's do it.
Next on MythBusters, your request
All right, so the potty dance. Here's why it might work.
leads to a bladder-busting test.
Why is it foamy?
Do not try what you are about to see at home.
We're what you call experts.
It's the rise of the randomizer. The MythBusters are taking a random selection of your madcap mini myth requests and putting them to the test.
All right, here we go. This one comes from the fan site from someone called King of Miri. This is a good one. Why is it that when someone has to pee, they shake around? Doesn't that make the feeling worse?
The potty dance.
Now, for those of you that don't know what the potty dance looks like, Carrie's about to demonstrate.
I am.
Yep, go for it. There you have it. Nice work. Well, that is an interesting idea. I mean, you would think that jumping around would actually slosh around that pee and create more pressure on your bladder.
Yeah, you know, I would think that it'd be better just to sit quietly and relax.
Nah, I think the potty dance works. We should test this.
Let's get our adult diapers on.
Already got mine.
So, does the potty dance really help you hold out? Can you avoid the can by doing the can-can? Will a pee jig, wee waltz, or tinkle tango really help or actually hinder? To find out, the team is ready to cross their legs, shake their booty, and flush their dignity.
First step for the potty dance experiment is the control. We've all come to work with completely empty bladders. We're going to consume 2 liters of water
Cheers. The science.
and time how long it takes before we just have to pee.
Okay. 2 liters. Get ready, bladder, because here it comes. So we've set up 3 clocks to time how long it takes each of us before we just can't hold it any longer. Not thinking about peeing. Now, for this control, we won't be employing any special techniques. There'll be no dancing, no meditating, just regular behavior, or at least as regular as it gets for us.
Now, once we're ready to open the valves and let it flow, we're gonna come to this, the official MythBusters data disposal unit. Once we're done with the control test, then we're gonna move on to the potty dance.
So for the baseline, the guys simply went about their day and tried to hang on for as long as they could.
I think I might need a 5-gallon bucket.
And for Tori, that was close to 2 hours after drinking 2 liters. To Tori's relief sends Grant over the edge.
All right, get out the way.
That's so gross.
And 40 minutes later, after Carrie not so much spends a penny as $1.
You done?
Shaking.
Oh my God! Look at the amount of pee you got there. That is a lot.
The control is complete.
So after about 2 hours and 40 minutes, I had to go, which is 40 minutes more than the boys, but I peed at least 30% more.
I'm impressed on how you actually peed in the bucket.
Yoga. So tomorrow we're gonna do this again. Try with the potty dance. See how long we can hold it then. Tell my friend.
And the next day, after following exactly the same procedure as the control,
All right, I'm down.
2 liters of water into an empty system, the guys will attempt to stave off the desire to pee with a little potty dancing. However, Carrie is dubious.
All right, so the potty dance. Here's why it might work. See, the potty dance is simple and basic. It's just this. It's this one.
Is that it?
Yeah. When you're dancing, you kind of, it's almost like a meditation.
Oh boy.
You know what helps is to, like, kind of bend over.
It distracts you. It's a mind over matter thing.
Got it.
Maybe the moonwalk? Mike, make it so you don't have to pee. Is it helping out?
A little. I hope I don't go pee now. This would be awkward.
Stepping off. But at the same time, all that jiggling and bouncing, it's gonna put pressure on your bladder. It might actually force the pee to happen before you're ready.
And for Tori, that appears to be the case.
This is not helping. It's actually hurting. Ah! All right, Zed, I'm out. I can't take it anymore. So apparently, the pee-pee dance didn't work for me at all.
I can't listen to it.
Oh. It caused me to go to the bathroom a half hour sooner than I did in the control test. So right now, it's not looking good for the myth. Oh, I feel so much better. Woo!
Nope. And although Grant grits his teeth, grips his pants, and painfully shuffles around for another 20 minutes, he's also short of his control time.
Oh my gosh!
Why is it foamy?
It came out at high velocity. Wanted to get out.
But Carrie has her groove on. A groove that enables her to shimmy and swing a full 7 minutes past her baseline.
This is working for me because if I stop, I will wet my pants. I might have to dance all the way into the potty. I'm gonna have to dance my pants down, and I'm gonna have to dance into the potty, and I'm gonna have to dance the pee out because, all right, that's it for me.
Oh.
Woo! Oh, God.
Yeah, keep dancing.
Whoa.
So the test climaxes. In a strange, contradictory result, the boys felt that the moving around made things worse, which was reflected in their times. But the movement increased Carrie's ability to hold on. So with inconclusive results, what's required is a third test, a contrasting technique to the mythical potty dance. This time, the team is going the full Zen. This time, it's mind over bladder. Is mental and physical relaxation. As the time ticks along, the team is taking this seriously. They zone, bliss, and chill out, attempting to banish bladder-bursting thoughts until they can't stand it any longer.
All right, so it's 2 hours and 5 minutes. I have technically beat my control test, so technically the Zen technique is better, but not by much.
So for Tori, it was a marginal improvement on his control and significantly better than the potty dance.
Oh, God, that feels good.
And 40 minutes later, Carrie maintains her consistency with another similar time. But Grant serenely sails past his control by a massive 47 minutes, which leaves a mixed bladder of results.
All right, with the results in, it looks like it's going to be very hard to come up with some sort of sweeping conclusion. Everybody's anatomy is so different. For me, the potty dance and the Zen method both helped me prolong having to go to the bathroom. Tori, nothing helped. He had to go, and he had to go quick. Grant, the Zen method really helped him out. So, guess it comes down to everybody's different.
And that is the moral of the story. Whatever works, works. Until it doesn't. Then you just gotta go.
But I wanted to take pictures of people's hands because in American culture there are many idiomatic phrases about the hands, and I wanted to approach that from a photographic and artistic standpoint. And these phrases are things like hand over your heart and hand-me-downs, helping hand, hand solo, and things of that nature. You can make of it what you like. So, Jamie, how do you think this one's gonna turn out?
I don't know, I'm speechless.
It's a randomizer request fest. Do the laws of physics really make a subaquatic spin on a bicycle unattainable, unachievable, and unfeasible? Adam and Jamie are blowing some bubbles to find out.
He's moving along like a charm.
It seemed to be going pretty well until we attempted to ride back out of the deep end here, at which point the bicycle stopped behaving like a bicycle and started behaving like a heavy weight.
There he goes, and he's falling off at this time.
So, undaunted, we have each made assumptions about exactly what it would take to make a bicycle drive underwater and attempt to make the impossible possible.
Yep, back at the shop, Adam and Jamie went head-to-head and embarked on a top-secret bike build-off.
Don't tell Jamie. In order to get more traction, I'm gonna make my bike really heavy, but I've also filled the tires with corn syrup. I have no idea if this is gonna work. But it's funny.
Funny and a solid scientific theory. The syrupy filling will spread the tires, providing more surface contact and more traction. He also added 50 extra pounds of weight.
I think it's perfect.
But Jamie
A couple of lead training wheels.
took a more heavy-handed approach.
I've added 120 pounds of training wheels to the back of this bike and another 20 or so on the front. I think it's going to give me all the traction I need. I'm ready.
So they each have a mechanical solution they believe will give this myth its best shot. Jamie focused on weight and stability. Adam went for traction. To see if either worked, they introduced a little competitive adrenaline.
The race starts here at the top of the ramp. As soon as I start the timer going, Jamie's dives straight into the water. The moment he crosses the finish line, I wave the checkered flag and tell him it's time. Are you ready?
Ready as I'll ever be.
Then it'll be my turn.
So they're all set for the Tour de Pool.
Go.
A uniquely MythBusters event.
Most peculiar start to any race ever. I like watching the top of his bald head disappear into the water. All right, let's go follow. Everything seems to be going smoothly. Now he's coasting downhill. 165 pounds of bike, 180 pounds of Heinemann. He's rounding the cone. This is where we ran into trouble last time we were in this pool. Going back up. The whole design of his bike is about getting him back up the hill, giving him enough traction.
But all of the extra mass doesn't seem to be aiding Jamie's cause. In fact, it seems to be more of a 160-pound hindrance than help.
It may just be too much weight for him to get up that slope.
Jamie was hoping the downforce from the additional weight would help maintain contact with the ground. It's a marginal improvement, but not enough to escape the deep end. And in the end, he has to use his feet to get to the top.
Little Heinemann, it could. Inch by inch. Making it out of the deep end. All on his own.
And in a burst of slow, Jamie finishes and delivers his verdict.
That was absurd. This was far worse than the unmodified bike. You know, more weight is harder to pull uphill. It still didn't have perfect traction.
Well, since I tried that approach, I tried adding less weight and changing the tire's consistency to try and exploit that. Let's say I have a run and we'll see where we get.
So, in conclusion, more mass counteracts the buoyancy, but the drag is a drag.
One, go.
Question is, can Adam complete his lap?
There he goes. So far, so good. Well, I can tell already he looks like he's doing a lot better than I was. And here comes the hard part.
King of the mountain, he's not.
And he's having the same problems.
Maybe if he could hear Jamie's encouragement, he might do better.
Oh, down he goes. Boy, that makes me feel a lot better.
Maybe not.
The good news is, the mods I made on this bike are a radical improvement over the unmodified bike. The soft tires and the more weight made this bike have much better traction. However, I was not able, even with those improvements, to get out of the deep end under any circumstances.
At this point, it's pretty much an even race. In other words, we've both failed.
And I think you'll have to agree, I gave it every shot I had. So how did we do in our obstacle course?
We sucked.
We didn't suck. We gave it a good try. The idea of riding a bicycle uphill underwater, that's what I think sucks.
Yeah, I thought we could have done a lot better, but we just couldn't do it. We couldn't go uphill.
No, but the good news is we have this idiomatic phrase that we can now answer. Is riding a bicycle underwater impossible?
No, it's not.
No, I think on a flat with a very shallow grade, it's totally feasible, and both of us were able to do it.
That means the myth is busted.
Totally busted, but so is our ability to ride uphill underwater.
And we ruined a couple of perfectly good bikes.
It's all in the name of science. Let's get out of here.
Want to know why we did what we did and didn't do what we didn't do? Check out the after show. Log on to discovery.com/MythBusters after show.
Carrie, Tori, and Grant have thrown and danced their way through the Request Fest. But one busted myth's about to get a twist in the tail.
I think we got some unfinished business with this whole needle throwing myth.
What do you mean?
I say we take a pellet gun, modify it, and see how fast we can get that needle going, and then see what happens.
I love it. Let's do it. We're trying to replicate what we saw on the internet. A Shaolin monk throwing a needle through a pane of glass with a clean hole. We started out with just manpower. Didn't work. Then we moved it to Superman power and used Matt Kane, who has the fastest arm in the West. So now, we're gonna try something with even more power. An air rifle.
Yep, an air rifle. As his chaos maker of choice, it's got Tori written all over it.
Now, I've shot out a lot of windows with these, but I've never shot one out with a needle. I've never thought of this before, but there is a problem. The needle is very thin. It's not the same diameter as the barrel of the gun, so I'm gonna have to use this sabot to capture the air pressure to shoot the needle down towards the glass.
With the rifle capable of shooting at 180 miles an hour, the 1/8-inch glass and the Myth is facing its final firing squad.
This is 1/8-inch glass with a needle and air rifle. Here we go in 3, 2, 1.
Ooh. Let's see what that did. Looked like a nice hit.
Wow. But no cigar. A good point first contact and no penetration. But with a speed of 140 miles an hour, the team still has a chance to further pump up their chances. Because with an extra pump or two comes more power.
Is it a divot?
Yeah, it is.
This time the needle rockets out at 160 miles an hour. But again, no penetration. However, the divot damage is promising. So for the final time, Tori cranks the gun to the max. 180 miles an hour.
1.
That looked good!
It punched a perfect hole
just like the Shaolin monk did.
Dude, so that's what it takes. Incredible speed.
Incredible speed indeed. A full 70 miles an hour faster than Matt the Cannon Kane's best throw was the magic number. And with the physics laid bare, the team suspects an alternative technique was used. It's not a hoax, but it seems there's more than meets the eye to this mythical monk magic.
I'm going to say this is busted still because I just don't think that any human is going to be able to do that.
Totally busted.
Absolutely busted.
Now, the myth that you could throw a needle through a pane of glass is totally busted. We tried everything we could to get this to happen. We threw it ourselves, we even brought in a professional pitcher, and we changed the thickness of the glass, and we could still not get a perfect punched hole. Finally, after using an air rifle, we were able to punch a perfect hole. But remember, that's getting a needle to travel at almost 200 miles an hour. No matter how you look at this one, it is busted. Let's just hope the Shaolin monks don't have cable.